Welcome people to Dream Team Scout. This is your boy Tage for game week 2 of the Sun DreamTeam Fantasy. Before I just move any forward, I just want to say thank you. Should I say a massive thank you to all my subscribers recently, and to my views. It's like the most viewed video I've ever had. So from the deepest region of my heart, if you can see that on screen, thank you. Got me emotional. Now I'm joking now, but for real, I really do appreciate it. But without further ado, let's not waste no time. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. So as you can see my team on the left, that's my team. We scored 96 points, which is a good return, I believe. Not easy. Please tell me how you fared on your first game week. And then I'll be going through today, the agenda. So looking at players to target, so goalkeepers, defenders, midfielders, strikers, captain choices. And that's it. So let's get to it. So I've picked two goalkeepers for this one, Leno and Pope. Leno's 3 million, Pope is 3.5. Both scored 4.4 points and 8 points respectively. Leno have got some good fixtures coming up against Leicester and Birmingham in game week 2, Ipswich in game week 3, and West Ham in game week 4, as opposed to Pope, who's 5.5 million, not 5 million, 500k more expensive. He's got game week 2 against Bournemouth and Nottingham Forest. I don't think he's going to start both. Dubravka might come in, and then we've got game week 3 Tottenham, game week 4 Wolves. Both are long-term keeps. If you haven't, resolved out your goalkeeping issues in your team, then you should be bringing these two guys in. I thought about Alisson, but Alisson is just out of my league. She's just out of my league. Nah, but so I wouldn't be going for Alisson just yet. Maybe if I've got great value on my team, then I could be targeting Alisson. Now let's go to defenders. My first defensive pick, I would say Trent Alexander-Arnold. I don't know why I struggle with his name. TAA. He scored 10 points against Ipswich. He got he's 5.5 million. The next 3 games are easily games that he could perform. So we got game week 2, we got Brentford. Game week 3, Man United is a tougher one there, and then game week 4, Nottingham Forest. But like I said, he's integral to how Liverpool play. Created 2 big chances in the last game. So I would say bring him in, and he's a long-term hold. Same applies for Gavio. He's City's best defender and a great attacking outlet. Scored 11 points, more than Trent. Cheap off at 4.5 million. However, I believe over the course of the season, Trent should show why he's the most expensive defender. And you look at City's next game, Ipswich. You can't overlook that. That's a game you wanna feast. You wanna have your paws in there. And then you got after that they got West Ham, and then they got Brentford. So if you're gonna bring him in, it's a long term hold. If you ain't got the funds to bring those guys in, then you could look towards the cheaper route of having Hall or Livramento, both 3 million, both scored 6 to 8 points for their teams. And we all know the fixtures for Newcastle. I just mentioned that with Pope, and both are long term keeps. If you are gonna bring them in, because the fixtures leading up to this, it's not that difficult. Apart from Tottenham, game week 2 against Bournemouth and Nottingham Forest, there's a double game week. So with Trippier wanting to leave and Shaw being suspended and Aden having issues in the defense, I probably expect both of them to still play. But who knows what Eddie Howe intends to do. But Newcastle they do want a trophy, so they should be taking this seriously. Both are good long-term picks, like I've said on the screen. And then finally, Robinson. Like I've said, I've gone for the double in my team, as you could see with Leno and Robinson. Robinson cost 3 million, 6 points against United. They were unlucky to concede so late, but I was happy with his performance in that game. 8 tackles, to get me a bonus point of 3. So he's also a good one. Like I said, if you're trying to build value for your team and trying to get funds and you're trying to buy the big boys in midfield, then these are the sort of defenders that you really need to be bringing into your team. I don't really see any other defender really outscoring these guys that I've just mentioned. Okay. And I know people are going to come to me with Poro, but that's an abnormality. He ain't scoring bangers every day. He's not popping up to the boxes like that. But Poro is a good one, but not for this game week. So, honourable defensive mentions, I would say Robinson, 4.5 million. Scored 7 points against Ipswich. If you ain't got enough funds to bring in Trent, and you believe they would keep the clean sheet against Brentford, so you could bring Robinson to mitigate against that. You got Munoz at Crystal Palace, who got the assist, but I think Crystal Palace, not so sure about them. They conceded two, not so sure and about them. Yeah, so I would hold out with Munoz at this point in time. Or you could bring him in if you could bring him in, if that's your choice. He's attacking, so he's got more to his game. And then I got Mazraoui of United, who scored 9 points versus Fulham, which is a very good return. However, United's next two fixtures, Brighton or they look good, they look sharp. I wouldn't. I think they might score against United, and going back to United, and the way football is always written, the old player always comes back to score. If you play FM, you see that all the time. So I would say hold on the Man United defenders for now. Let the storm pass. So after Brighton, after Liverpool, then you can start drafting them in. I think United will be a good shout then. So those are my honourable defensive mentions. And if we're moving towards midfield, midfield was tough, picking the players in midfield. Number one, I've gone for Szoboszlai, 4.5 million, 6 points against Ipswich. I think it made the assist for Salah. He's playing further up the pitch now, so I believe if you ain't got him, then you could bring him in at 4.5 million is a long-term pick for this game week, and I believe against Brentford, he could do a thing. I've gone for Golden as well, for people to, I know his returns against Southampton was poor, 3 points. But once again, we know the Newcastle fixtures, they've got a double game week. And he really should be starting and giving us some, returns with the amount of faith we've placed in him. So, guys, I would say if you're bringing in Golden for this week, I would say it's a short-term one. Keep, so you bring him in targeting Bournemouth and Nottingham Forest. Like I said, Newcastle should be playing for that trophy and to do well in this competition. And then we're gonna go for Palmer after that, who's at 6 million, 5 points against Man City. We all know they lost that game, but Chelsea's next few games are against Wolves, Crystal Palace and Bournemouth. Palmer could start picking up now, okay, because even against Man City, he looked a bit sharp. And then with the acquisition of, Neto, Joao Felix and Kuku, all of these guys there should be mobility in the team, and that should play into Palmer's hands and feeding the players. If Mascara, or however you pronounce his name, if he's got any sense. So I would say Palmer is a long-term keep. I'll probably say bring him in now, actually. Sometimes we get caught up in this, 2 game weeks and stuff like that. Or we might get caught up in Man City playing Ipswich, and then we forget that, listen, we've got this boy Palmer over there, so, and he's 6 million, it's cheaper than, KDB or the Foden, so, yeah. And then I've got Emma Smith-Rowe is an enabler. Not much to say about him. He scored 2 points against United. We know the fixtures of Fulham, I've mentioned that previously. And I would say he allowed you to spend more in other departments in your team. And I expect better from him against Leicester and Birmingham in this game week. I expect better from him. I expect a goal in one game and an assist in the other. If he doesn't play the midweek game, then I expect a goal and some bonus points. I expect something. Definitely from him. And then I've gone for so he's a long-term one. Then I've gone for Kudus, short-term pick. But he's a bonus point magnet. Last season it was the same. So he's 6 points against Villa, which they lost that game. But you look at the next game for West Ham, Crystal Palace and Bournemouth. If Lopetegui is going to sense, he will starting for both. The only thing that might deter people from him is that he costs 5 million. So that might be the stumbling block. That might be the obstacle with regards to people, bringing him in as we got, cheap alternatives, and we see it with Doku. But I would say he's a bonus point magnet. Short-term pick. That's not my strategy right now. But if you're looking for a player just to come and do something, I probably think he might be the one. Or, gone to my head, I would say probably Eze. 5 points against Brentford. He's 4.5 million. It's cheaper than Kudus. The next few games are, game week 2, West Ham and Norwich. So both teams will be playing themselves. Then we've got Chelsea, and then we've got Leicester. If Crystal Palace are going to have a good season, if anything meaningful is going to come out of Crystal Palace, Eze is definitely involved. He was unlucky to have his goal ruled out for offside, which I don't understand these refs in the Premier League. But yeah, I would say he's a good one. Also, probably long term. Um, keeping that in mind. Or if you're, if you're a big boy, if you're a shark and you want the points now, there and then we have to go for KDB or Foden, 6.5 million each. They both scored crap points against Chelsea, 3 points and 2 points respectively. But just to let you know, Ipswich conceded, 6 big chances against Liverpool. Now imagine how much big chances they're going to concede against Man City. So I would say those players, either Foden or KDB, should try bringing them in. If you could bring both, then that's good. Maybe you could swap Saka for Foden and then generate the funds for somewhere else for KDB. Who knows? But I don't know what his strategy is. Some people are playing to keep the value in the team so they could have more funds to maneuver the market later on. Some people are playing for the points now. Either way, there's not really an ideal world to play. For me, myself, is a mixture. So if I've got, for example, if I've got 5 players in my team and I know the prices are going to go up and I know I need to bank in some points right now, I'll probably mitigate, or not 5 players because then you can only pick 2. But say, for example, I've got 2 players that the prices would go up and I need to go for players that would bring in the points now. I might just take 1 player out and lose it on the value going up. I'm bringing a player that could amass me a great amount of points, and then keep the other player, to increase the value of the team. It's a bit like finance, edging the portfolio, or should I say diversifying the portfolio. Sorry, I don't know why I'm talking about finance, but yeah. Anyway, but yeah. So moving on to overshot 10 picks. I did Adingra of Brighton and I did Fatu of Leicester. Adingra is 3 million. Fatu was 2.5, but they did healthy returns for the teams. Adingra got 8 points and scored against Everton, who are very depleted. And I don't think he's going to start against United because the manager was saying Minter was okay, even though Minter came off at half time due to concussion. But I think definitely against Crawley, he would definitely be starting. So once again, it's a short-term option. Same thing for Fatual. It was Leicester's creative outlet against Spurs. And the next fixtures for Leicester City, game week 2, Fulham, Tranmere, Aston Villa, then Crystal Palace in the following weeks. So yeah, both short-term picks for this week. Yeah, and they could surprise you, or should I say they're differentials. So yeah, stay tuned to that. Honourable mentions for midfielders. I've got Fernandes at United. I've got Saka for Arsenal. I think Saka, people might think crazy, but why not target Saka this week? His price is going up, first of all, which is a good thing for people. But at the same time, it's like we've not done well against Villa in the last few years, especially Emery's team. I think we lost to them twice last season. We didn't score. So I don't know about the Saka one. So I would say if you go Saka in team, you could keep him to have his value increase, or you could swap him out. I don't know what his strategy is for this game week. I've got Diaz, who was unlucky not to score against Ipswich, but I've gone for Szoboszlai. Once again, you can swap them out. I've got Doku as a cheap alternative to, Doku and Bernardo Silva, cheap alternatives to Foden and KDB. So once again, you could try to bring one of those guys in, but hey, it's just down to your preference. I've got Mitoma. I just feel like the fixtures are a bit difficult, so that goes against them. And Buemo, same thing. I feel the fixtures go against them, even though they got a good return, 10 points for V Palace, but they're playing Liverpool. And I've got Gibbs White, which I wasn't really too happy with his performance against Bournemouth. I expected more. So it's a honourable mention, but I wouldn't say you should try a full 7, but it's 3.5 million. So hey. If your strategy, it depends what your strategy is. So that would be my honorable mentions. And then if we're going for the strike force, what if I go for the strike force? Let me just see. I'm just going to breeze through this one quickly. The strike force Haaland. If you ain't got Haaland, that's crazy. I shouldn't even be putting long term there. I should be putting to the end of time. Haaland until if Haaland is in the Premier League, you should have him in your fantasy. I don't know how people are playing with fire, having Haaland this week, not having Haaland next week, and no, Haaland ain't like Salah. Salah, you could do that with, but not Haaland. So I know Haaland went through his patch last season as well, where he didn't score for a while, but nah, 27 goals in the Premier League says all. So Haaland, if you ain't got him, bring him in. Salah, it's expensive and his funds are going to go up. So if you're going to bring him in now. That's the only reason I would say if you're going to bring in Salah. I know they got Brentford, then they got United after that, then they got Nottingham Forest. So I expect him to score against Brentford and Nottingham Forest. And he's got a good record against United and City as well. So yeah, you could bring in Salah as well. Or once again, a cheap alternative. These are all long-term picks. Jota, who seems to be the favourable number 9 for Liverpool, ahead of Nunes, who's not clinical enough, and I think Gakpo might be the one giving Jota a few rest off the bench. So I would say that. Isak got the assist, got 6 points against Southampton. Still decent for people that captain them. Obviously, but we expected a goal, but they had a player sent off. But it's a double game week. Should do well in his fixture. So it's an exciting prospect to have in. And then the ace in the hole would be Rodrigo Muniz at Fulham. It's 3 million. Scored 3 points against United, but game week 2, we know who Fulham are facing. Leicester, Birmingham. I expect him to score against Leicester. Guaranteed. If he doesn't, then that's abysmal. I don't think he's going to start against Birmingham. They might go with Raul Jimenez. But just look at the game week fixture. He's got Leicester this game week. Game week 3, he's got Ipswich. And then game week 4, he's got West Ham, who are not been the greatest with regards to the defence. So he's a long-term pick, and you could bring him in. Say, for example, you're trying to bring in a Gavi or Arnold. You could bring him in to generate funds to, bring those guys in. So Rodrigo Muniz. Honourable mentions are Solanke at Tottenham, 4 million. He had 3 shots on target against Leicester without scoring. Everton have got a depleted team, so he probably should score. Is a FPL favorite, so that's one of the ones that everyone goes for. Then I've got Pedro and Cunha for the strikers. If we're looking at captains for this game week, I would target number 1 Haaland. They're playing against Ipswich. It's a no-brainer. And then number 2 we've got Isak for me, and then number 3 Palmer, and then number 4 Salah. So in that order, this will be my captain choices for this game week. Quickly to look at my team, what I intend to do, I do not know. What I intend to do, I do not know. So we're looking at my team on the left side of the screen. I've got Haaland, Salah, and Isak. My defense I'm happy with, so I wouldn't be making no changes there with the 2 Newcastle, 2 Fulham. I'm considering probably considering taking off say Saka, just this once, taking off Saka and bringing in either Foden or KDB. I know Saka is 6 million. I might lose on him getting value for money, but it is what it is. Or I was thinking of take off Salah for this game week, which might bite me. So take off Salah, bring in Foden, and then use those, and then use the funds and just keep the funds there. So I'm not too sure. Or I could take off, once again, Salah for Muniz, and then I could take off Gordon, for Foden or KDB. So these are what I'm playing with at the moment. So once again, I'm not too sure who am I bringing. So that's my strategy. Saka and Salah are definitely going to increase in price. So one of them would have to leave my team to generate funds. Like I said, you have to mitigate it. One's going to go up in value, so I save some funds there. The other, I use it to bring in a player that I believe could amass more points. And I'm feeling getting a 2 City midfielders in there, definitely. Forget the game weeks, double game weeks sometimes. It's not guaranteed. And then for my other team variations, I'll be posting down my Twitter account, so if people were interested in looking at them. But in this team, I've got Haaland, Isak, and Son. Some definitely coming out for Muniz. Then I don't know, maybe a Golden might come out for I don't know, a Doku or a Bernardo Silva or a Foden it, or Szoboszlai might come off. So that would be what I'm targeting in those two teams. And then what other, and then in the other variation, let me just quickly pull that up. Um, yeah, with Jota, who knows? I might be he's gonna go off him. He's gonna go up in price. So once again, Moniz could come in here. Gibbs White, I probably might ship out and bring in City midfielders, so double up on the City midfielders. But once again, who knows? So, but I'll be posting my changes, and I'm quite good like this. I'll be no, well, not good, should I say? I'm quite honest. I'll be posting my transfer changes on my Twitter page later on, or probably releasing a short and showing people what I intend to do with my transfers, or the transfers I've made for my team. So, but my main team, as we'll go on the screen, is a difficult one. I don't know. It's a tough one. I still need to sleep on it. Still thinking of the idea of Saka leaving for this game week once, and bringing the two city midfielders, and then a golden probably coming out for I don't know, someone like a Eze. I'm not too sure. Not too sure. Or I don't know, golden coming out for Doku. But then that's three midfielders at Man City. So anyway, stay tuned. Hopefully this video helped. As you can see, my thought process is still all over the gaff. But yeah, I'll be making my changes and posting that tomorrow on my Twitter account, and I'll be leaving links there for you to see when this video comes out. Yeah, that is it, guys. So hopefully this was once again I was able to assist and push you guys towards the right direction. Yeah, thanks for liking and subscribing, guys. Keep it growing, keep the channel growing. I really do appreciate it. And yeah, that is it. Dream Team Scout, over and out.